I like it because it's small. I've always liked small towns.
Settling in the historic town of Concrete in Skagit County.
The house was built in 1905.
It seemed just right for a man who appreciates old-time things. Larry Tustin is surrounded by antiques in his 115-year-old house on Concrete's Main Street. It's his forever home.
My plan is to stay in here till I die.
But Larry says he could have lost his home after he took out a federally approved mortgage forbearance that halted the monthly mortgage payments on his house for 6 months.
I work at a meat packing plant.
He signed up last year when the plant shut down after workers tested positive for COVID.
So they cut way back on the hours.
After the 6-month forbearance, Larry started paying his mortgage again.
In fact, I was actually making 2 house payments trying to get caught up again. And then they started sending me my checks back, but they wouldn't take them anymore.
Were you surprised?
Yeah.
And after it returned his checks, his loan servicer, U.S. Bank, sent him this, a notice that his new repayment rate was more than $2,200 a month. The paperwork called the payments voluntary, but Larry says he couldn't get the amount reduced.
Did you ever get on the phone with anybody from U.S. Bank and talk to them?
Yeah, many times.
What was that conversation like?
I'll call you back on Thursday or whatever. And never called me back, never called me back. And it didn't make sense because it was way more than I could afford. I mean, it's 3 times my normal house payment.
What did you think when you saw that?
It was, I can't do that. I mean, I still got to pay water and lights and gas insurance.
He was at risk of defaulting on his mortgage and losing his home.
Banks are just always going to try to take the most money possible in the fastest amount of time, even if it means not complying with the guidelines that the government has said the banks have to do.
Attorney Nadia says banks that are servicing federally backed loans, that's about 80% of home loans, are required to offer borrowers several repayment options when coming off of forbearance. She says U.S. Bank didn't in Larry's case.
Larry is not alone. I have personally had many more clients than Larry at this point, and they're ranging all over from the different banks.
She was able to negotiate Larry's house payment down to the $759 per month that it was before the forbearance, with an added 6 months to the life of the loan. She says that's what U.S. Bank should have offered Larry in the first place.
You can't expect the mortgage lenders to just say, oh, here's something easy and here's something affordable. Banks are always going to try to take the most money possible.
Larry's life is now back in rhythm. He plans to have his house paid off when he retires in a few years.
To lose the house would be losing everything for me.
The important lesson here is that the initial payment plan that your lender offers may not be so, well, concrete. So it's important to be persistent if you want to negotiate a lower payment. In Concrete, Chris Ingalls, King 5 News.
And in a statement late today, a U.S. Bank spokesperson said, quote, customers are encouraged to reach out to discuss their situation. And the bank's, quote, top priority is to keep customers in their home with affordable monthly payments. He did decline to discuss Larry's case. The Federal Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has a website explaining the options for borrowers. You can text the keyword HELP to 206-448-4545 for more information. We'll also send you a link to free HUD housing counselors as well in order to get some additional help.